lakelandcarkeys.com. I'm currently working on a 2006 Dodge Ram. It's all keys lost, and it is a remote head 3-button key. Now, for any of us who ever work on any Jeep, Dodge, Daimler, Chrysler, or whatever, we know that they have multiple different keys, multiple different options. There's just so many different varieties. So this particular style remote head key actually comes in 3 different FCC flavors, I should say. We have a OTH, a KOB, and an M3N. Now the M3N is usually mostly like older Caravans and stuff, and the KOBs are usually like older Rams, much like this one here, and some of the older stuff from that era. And then about 07, 08ish and up, they're usually mostly the OTHs, but I mean they can vary. So I'm gonna show y'all how, in an all keys lost situation, how I usually look up this information and try to select the right key. Right, so because we have no keys to this car, we're gonna go ahead and try to decode the locks. This is a Leashy direct reader. It works a little bit different than your normal Leashy pick and decoder. On the normal picks, you would pick the lock and turn it and decode it. But this, we're going to try to go in and do a direct reading. And they're not as accurate as the pick and decodes, but when it comes down to, if you're not really good at picking it, trying to decode it at least one time before you try a different option really doesn't hurt. So the key itself, oh man, I can't even see this because of the sun glare. But the key itself has 8 cuts in it. I believe the door is only going to have 6 of those. And 3 will be at the top, 3 will be at the bottom. So basically when we see which ones are springy, so these are the odds. So I should be able to read 7, 5, and 3. There we go. And so I should be able to, let me see if I can get in my 3 slot, get down there. So basically I would read 3, 5, 7 on this side, and then flip it over and then read, the remainder, and it would be 8, 6, and 4. And then 1 and 2 are not there. But the machine will fill in the rest of the code. So give me 1 second, I'm going to pause the video and so I can see and try to get this decoded. From the main screen, I usually go to, from Google, I usually search, so this is a Dodge, so we can say Dodge OEM parts, and just go to the OEM parts website, and then up top, there's always a pop-up, but up top we can search by VIN number. So I have the VIN number here saved, and more pop-ups. All right, go ahead and, all right, so this tells me it's a Dodge 2007 Dodge Ram, and then we can just select whatever trim we want. All right, and then now we have our vehicle selected by VIN number. I usually go into the part search and just search transmitter. So then when you go in transmitter, you can look, and it'll give you all the different options of keys that should work for that vehicle by VIN number. All right, so what I do is I'll look at the part. Yeah, I could just go ahead and copy that part number, and then go to my key supplier website, and I already have it pulled up here, but just search the OEM part number, and then I can scroll down and see the FCC ID is OTH. So I know for my key collection, I can grab my OTH 3-button key and go ahead and cut it, and hopefully that information's right, There have been times where it's been inaccurate, but I'd say, 95% of the time it's right. Alright, so I think I got what was the correct key code. So, ooh, that's not tight. That's not good. I am cutting a test blade just to test it out in the lock to see if it turns before we cut our actual remote key, just in case I got a inaccurate reading. And I might even have to recut this one because I've definitely seen it move in the key machine. But let me give this a test, see what it does. Alright, so our decode was good, and I already set up the new key in the key machine. So from there I can just go ahead and hit cut key again and let it cut our remote key, and then we'll move on to programming. Now I was just speaking with the customer, and he was telling me that he had a separate key and separate remote, which, kind of threw me off a little bit. Is this a real old system where they had the separate remotes from the separate key? And if it is, I probably wouldn't be able to program one of those remotes. I'm not even sure if I have one, because I usually don't do those real older Dodges because they're always a problem. So that'll be interesting to see if it actually takes this key, or maybe he had another remote key like this that the blade was broken off of, and someone just made another transponder key for it. So we'll see. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the programming. So I'm inside the vehicle. I got the key turned to the on position. And right down here, we see the blinking red light. That is our immobilizer light. So once we program the vehicle, that light should come on for about 4 or 5 seconds and then go out. And then hopefully the remote functions and everything work along with it. Alright, so I'm going to go I'm using the Lonzo K518 Pro. I'm going to go into Emo and Remote, and we can look at Dodge, and then we'll select from Vehicle, North America. We're in a Ram, and we got, this is 06 to 08, Immobilizer. We're going to attempt to read pin code. I'm not sure, 07, if that was still one of the EEPROM ones. Alright. Our ignition is on, and we was able to read the pin code. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and, oops, I didn't mean to hit add old key. So let me cancel, and we're going to go into add new key. Alright, it says insert the key to be programmed, turn the ignition on. Alright, it automatically pulled up our pin code. Hit OK. And it says programming complete. And our immobilizer light just went out. So back the key off. Turn it back on. The immobilizer light comes on. And within 3 seconds it goes out. And the vehicle starts up and runs. Now, here's for the final test. We gotta go and see, was the FCC ID that we pulled up accurate, and did the remote functions program with the transponder. So this type of key is what they call an integrated key, whereas the remote functions and the transponder functions all program one as together. So oh, look at that, it worked perfect. Remote functions programmed in with the remote, and the key turns perfectly in the cylinder. Vehicle starts up and stays running. That's a completed job with the Lonzo K518 Pro. Thanks for watching, lakelandcarkeys.com.